In the late 18th century, the streets of Paris whispered of hunger, anger, and a monumental change on the horizon. France, once the wealthiest kingdom in Europe, was now a nation teetering on the brink of total collapse. This isn't just a tale of kings and their glittering crowns. It's the story of everyday people. Farmers, workers, mothers, and dreamers who dared to rise up against the most powerful monarchy in the entire world. This is the story of the French Revolution, a time when freedom was born in fire and the world was forever changed. It all began in glittering palaces. King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette lived a life of unimaginable luxury, surrounded by fine silks, exquisite wines, and shimmering gold. But just beyond the gilded walls of Versailles, the people were starving. Farmers had no bread to feed their families. Workers had no jobs to earn a living. And when the people cried out for help, their pleas fell on deaf ears. The king simply turned away. One day, a woman on the streets of Paris famously shouted, "If the people have no bread, let them eat cake." Now, whether the queen truly said those words or not, they became a powerful symbol of the monarchy's blindness to the suffering of its people. The first spark of revolution had been lit, and soon it would grow into an inferno. In May of 1789, the king called a great meeting, the Estates General, to solve France's deepening financial crisis. He hoped it would calm the people down. Instead, it did the exact opposite. It awakened them. The nobles and the clergy stood proudly in their silk robes, expecting the common people to bow as they always had. But the Third Estate, representing the commoners, refused. They broke away, making a bold declaration: "We are the National Assembly, the true voice of France." And with that single, powerful act of defiance, the revolution was truly born. July 14th, 1789. The king, unnerved by the growing unrest, sent his troops into Paris. Panic spread through the city like wildfire. The people, desperate and now fearless, took up arms. They marched toward an old foreboding fortress that symbolized everything they hated, the Bastille. The battle raged for hours. Gunfire and explosions echoed through the streets. Smoke filled the air. The steady pound of drums fueled the people's resolve. When the gates finally fell, the prison's ancient stones crumbled under the sheer weight of the people's fury. The Bastille had fallen, and with it, the age of kings began to tremble. In the days that followed this victory, the National Assembly drafted something truly revolutionary, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. Its words echoed with a profound promise: all men are born and remain free and equal in rights. These weren't just words on paper. They were like lightning striking the minds of people across France and the world. The revolutionaries dreamed of a new world, a France built not on inherited titles, but on the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. But as they would soon discover, such dreams have a heavy price. By 1791, the royal family, sensing their power slipping away, tried to flee France. Disguised and hidden in the dead of night, they made a desperate escape. But they were caught by their own people and brought back to Paris in disgrace. The monarchy had fallen, and a new republic was born. The crowds chanted, "Vive la République!" Long live the Republic. 2 years later, in January 1793, King Louis XVI faced the guillotine. As the blade fell, a stunned silence descended upon the crowd. The people had taken the head of their king, but in doing so, they had also unleashed a storm of chaos. What began as a noble cry for freedom soon twisted into a scream of fear. The revolution turned viciously against itself. A man named Robespierre and his Committee of Public Safety seized control. They promised to defend liberty at all costs, but they ruled with absolute terror. Every single day, the cold, sharp blade of the guillotine sliced through the air. Heads fell one after another. Nobles, priests, and even former revolutionaries were accused of treason and sent to their deaths. Thousands were executed. Paris, once the city of lights, became a city of blood and fear. The revolution was eating its own children. By 1794, the people had had enough. The very same crowd that once cheered for Robespierre now turned against him. He was arrested, tried, and ultimately met the same grim fate as the countless victims he had sent to the guillotine. The reign of terror was finally over. But France was broken, exhausted, leaderless, and drowning in the aftermath of its own violent revolution. And then, from the smoke and ashes of this chaos, a soldier emerged. He was a young general, brilliant, fearless, and intensely ambitious. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte. He promised the weary nation peace. He promised order. And in 1799, through a swift military coup, he took control of France. The revolution that had begun with passionate cries for equality ended with the rise of an emperor. But even as crowns and titles returned, the powerful ideas of liberty and justice that had been unleashed could not be killed. The French Revolution changed the world forever, shattered the ancient chains of monarchy, and proved that power could and should belong to the people. Its spirit crossed oceans and centuries, inspiring revolutions in Europe and Latin America. And its ideals even echoed in the founding words of democracies all around the globe. Liberty, equality, fraternity. 3 words that still ignite the hearts of those who refuse to kneel. 3 words that remind us all that freedom may be born from chaos, but once it is born, it can never truly die. If you were moved by this cinematic retelling of the French Revolution, by the courage, the sacrifice, and the sheer power of the people, then please don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more cinematic history stories. Ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And tell us in the comments which empire or revolution should we bring to life next? Because in every age and every heart, there comes a time when people must rise and rewrite the story of the world.